Hey, I noticed something about you. You've been searching online on how to get verified on those social networks.
Wait a minute!
It's been a crazy mystery. How do people do it? Well, look no farther. You're in the right spot. I'm going to share with you exactly how to get verified on social networks in a simple and truthful way. A lot of those videos up there that people are talking about this, blogs and everything about this subject matter, it's a lot of fluff. And it's not very to the point and not simple in a way that you can apply it in your life. Now, I've personally been verified on all the social networks for years now. I know exactly how it works. I've also helped some friends. I've also helped some clients to be able to implement this in their career as well. And they've gotten results from this. And actually, some of those clients have paid me a generous sum of income to consult them on this. So I'm going to share this to you guys completely for free. I'm going to leave nothing unturned here. If I could do that and if I could deliver that, all I am asking is if you found value in this, if you could just give me a like and subscribe so that way I can give you more value in the future, okay? If that sounds fair, give me a yes in the comment section and we will continue here on this journey together. And I'm going to give you a no BS, simple 3-step method on how to implement it in your career so you can get started with it. Paul the trombonist here if you don't know me. Before we really begin on this, I want to kind of just throw this disclaimer out there. The comment section actually might be disabled on this because I have seen videos online where people talk about this and there's all of these scammers trying to get people to buy a verification badge from them. Now that does not work. That will not work. That's just a complete scam. And what I noticed is that when people put a video up about this subject, the comment section gets flooded with those kind of comments. So if that happens on this video, I may just disable the comment feature. So if you see the comments disabled, that is why they're disabled. Okay? So why do we want to get verified? Like, what is the point of getting verified? Well, yeah, it's kind of a vanity thing. We live in a crazy time period. It's kind of messed up. It gives your brand authority and people can trust that brand, people respect it. I know it's so crazy. It's kind of like a social class thing. It's so ridiculous, but that's just kind of the era we're in with that little coveted blue check mark. All of a sudden people are like, oh, I'm special, I'm famous, whoa, whoa, whatever like that. So that's just the time period we live in and it establishes some credibility with your brand. So people will respect you and they'll trust what you're doing more for your career and everything. And it will lead to opportunities. As weird as it is, it will lead to opportunities because you're verified. It's just the way it is. And for everyone that thinks they're special just because they have a verification badge and that they're somehow better than everyone else, I'm here to tell you that they are no different than anyone in the world, and it's kind of ridiculous they would have that kind of attitude. So I'm going to share with you on how you can do it. This is a 3-step simple method. So by the end of this, you should completely understand how to get verified. And this is no fluff. This is like legit, right? So what we're going to do here is I'm going to share with you 3 steps, and then on the 3rd step, there's a certain order that you must do everything in order for this to work out for you, okay? So the first step is we really want to make sure that your social networks are very clear what you do. You want to make sure they're optimized. You want to be posting content that people really are engaging with. It shows that you're putting an effort and you're putting some value out there on those individual platforms, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter. They want to see that you're putting effort into it. If you're not putting in that effort into it in the first place, then you might as well just write off even ever having your chance of being verified is being a reality because it just will never happen. Why would you think that they would verify you if they don't see that you're putting an effort in? So that involves a lot of original content, you know? That's key. They want to see that you're producing original content. You can't just be like sharing other people's content. I mean, it's okay once in a while, but the main way that you're going to be able to have success being verified is to produce your own content and to show that you're putting an effort. That's so key. If you don't do that, then you might as well just forget everything. Right? So we got that. And if you guys behave, at the end of this video, I'll play a little diddly on my trombone that I wrote just for you, just for this video. All right, so everything's optimized now. You're showing an effort. Well, we want to focus on one network first. So we're going to get back to that on this 3rd step. So let's go to the 2nd step now. So the first step, optimize, right? Everything's looking good, showing you're putting an effort on the networks, right? The 2nd step, this is so key. This is where people fail. This is why it does not work for them. And they're like, why can't I get verified? I want to get verified. And this step here, it's simple. It's 2 words. Become notable. And how do you become notable? Well, this is how you become notable. When people write about you and there's press about you, that means that you're doing something that warrants notability. So you need to produce some content that's worthy of being written about. So how do you do that? Well, create something that some news media will write about, some blogs will write about, maybe author a book, maybe produce an album, maybe put on an event. Do something that makes it so you're notable in your industry, in your career. This is key. How would you possibly expect social networks to ever verify you if you haven't done anything notable? Then that verification badge would be meaningless and it wouldn't do its job what it was designed to do, which is to establish notable people from being the authentic source, right? So you must become notable. And the simplest way to become notable is to write a book or create some kind of an album and get people to write about it. And how do you get people to write about it? Well, you can just look to see who's writing about content similar to what you're doing. And if you reach out to about 100 of them, you're gonna get people that are going to write about you. How much is it worth it for you to move your career forward? If it's worth it to you, this is what you would do anyways, is to get some press written about you, create some content where people are talking about you. And that's the key step of becoming verified. People think that if they got a bunch of followers, all of a sudden you're gonna be verified. Getting verified has nothing to do with how many followers you have. And you don't have to be some ultra famous celebrity to get verified either. All you need to do is to become notable in your field. Okay, so put attention on that. That should be your main priority. And that's the no BS simple step that I don't see anyone saying. They think, oh, you can apply here. Keep trying if you apply. Keep trying if you apply. And they're like, I'm not getting verified. Well, what have you done to become notable in your career? All right, so that's so key. I can't emphasize that enough. So if you've done nothing to warrant being written about, nothing to create discussion about what you're producing in your career and life and everything, then forget it. Don't even bother getting verified because it's not worth your time. You could have 1 million followers and you're still not going to get verified. So notability. The third step is the order of operations. So we need to do this first. So the 3 social networks kind of have a different process on getting verified. And what I found is once you're verified on one, the other ones just kind of snowball because they see it and they're like, oh, they're verified on this one, so then, oh, this one, then I'm going to verify them on that one because that other platform verified them, so they must be there. So how do we do it? What's the easiest way? So I'll tell you the way that it worked for me and kind of the order of everything. So the first one, the easiest one to become verified on was Facebook. The application for Facebook looks like this. I'll flash it on the screen here. And all you got to do is you just got to answer some of the questions, and then it says to link to certain parts online that kind of warrant this application and to prove that it's, first of all, it's you and what you've done in your career and everything. And all you got to do is you just got to put links to that. You're going to put links to that in there. And remember what I talked about becoming notable? That's a good opportunity to put an article that somebody wrote about you. That's a good opportunity. Now remember again, where do we get people to write about us? You find people writing about similar things in your niche, whatever you want to call it. You reach out to them. If you do it 100 times, you're going to find people to write about you, especially if it's in line with what they need to write about. You got to think about it this way. Media, press, blogs, they're always looking for content. So you need to tie your content to something that warrants it being special. So I created this album to promote my mission in life to solve this issue in society. That's just like a little example. Then all of a sudden people will say, oh, it's related to it. Okay. You know how I did it, guys? I'm just going to tell you right now. I hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. No, just kidding. I'm just going to throw that out there. How I did it was I would find people that were writing content about certain subjects and industries, and I would write music related to that so they would feature it, and I would get featured on all these different blogs. All of a sudden, when one of the companies wants to see that I'm notable or whatever, they just Google my name and they see me on all these blogs, all these news, all this press, all this written about it. Then all of a sudden someone writes about you in Wikipedia, and then all of a sudden they Google your name, and then you're everywhere there. And it's just kind of how this works. So you need to get the content out there, all right? So let's say, for example, earlier in my career, to get someone's attention, since I'm a musician, I would write a song for those people, and then they would retweet it, and then people would write about it, and then it would be on a blog. That's how you do it. So think about it. The first thing that I ever did to kind of do this was I wrote a song for Ellen DeGeneres. Now, nothing really ever happened to it other than the producers interviewed me and I realized I could get attention from people. Then I wrote a song for Ryan Seacrest, got featured on his blog, then other people picked it up, some of the bigger media picked it up, and this kind of snowballs up its way the ladder of the press. So you got to think about how to get people talking about you. What are you doing in your career to get talked talked about. Another way that I would get people to write about me, like let's say like a technology blog, and I knew they were going to talk about a certain iPhone or something, what I would do is I would create content based around what I knew they would write about. I would establish a relationship with some of the editors and writers, and I would just send them the content and they would feature it on their blog. And that was a really great way to get press, really great way to get featured on a variety of places and platforms all around the internet. Kind of went off on a tangent, but I believe that's really, really important. So let's go back to the order of operations on how to apply. So the Twitter, that's the last one we want to do. So you want to get the Facebook dialed in, you're going to apply. Once that's cool and they approve your application, you're going to see the little blue check mark on your name on Facebook, okay? Then it becomes increasingly easier each step of the way through the verification process. That should be cool, that should be awesome. And then from there, we want to then apply to Instagram. Since they are really the same company, I just had to do that. Since they are the same company, we have an easier chance getting it to them. So then how they do it now, they made it very simple. How I'm talking now in this time period, this is how they do it. You just see the little hamburger thing there. You go up, you request for verification. Once they understand that you are also verified on their other site, Facebook, then it's going to be increasingly easier for Instagram. And you can just keep applying it till it happens, all right? They're always changing these things, but the basic strategy is the same. Facebook's verified. Now your Instagram's verified. Ooh, what's the last piece of the puzzle? Twitter. So Twitter is always changing it. They changed it recently where you can't submit the verification here. So on Twitter, if I were you, now I'm just throwing this out there, if I were you, this is what I do. Because things happen differently for me in my career because I had this done a long time ago. But I'm always keeping up to date and I always know the latest strategies because I'm fascinated with social media and how all this stuff works. If I were you, and if you were to hire me and you say, Paul, can you consult me on getting verified on Twitter? What would you do? I'm just saying, this is what I would do. I would say, okay, let's do this. Let's have a representative reach out to somebody from Twitter. Go on LinkedIn, go on one of those sites to find somebody that works at Twitter's email. Your representative is going to reach out to them, and your representative is going to say something along the lines of verification request for my client such and such, or for my artist that I represent, or whatever, something like that would be the subject line. And then I would, as the representative, or your representative would say, hey, we're having some issues with some people kind of becoming an imposter of my client. There's a little confusion for their fans or their audience on a real official Twitter account. They're already verified on Facebook. They're already verified on Instagram. What is the process for getting this issue resolved so they can engage, so they can utilize your platform more frequently without the issue of someone dealing with the unofficial artist, unofficial person, whatever. I'm just giving you an example off the top of my head. This is what I would do. And I would say probably the chances, if you did that to enough employees on Twitter, and you find their Twitter email addresses on LinkedIn or something like that, chances are, oh, by the way, this is key. It needs to come from an email that looks amazing, not one of those Gmail emails. It's got to be like management@domainname.com. Needs to be like that. All right, so you do that. Your manager, your representative, or your alter ego sends that out to them, and all of a sudden you just wait and you see what happens. Now that's how I would do it, and then all of a sudden you're verified on all the social networks. So if you found value in this, and I lived up to my promise to you,
subscribe so I can give you more value in your life.
I wish I could teach you guys this stuff all day long. I'm fascinated with this. So I did put together a little class for those that want to take it to the next level on how you can grow your brand online. I'm super passionate about this information, and I've grown my business as a trombone player and musician to my audience, and I also share with other people how to grow their brand and to turn it into an online business that can last for the rest of their lives. I've made a class for you. There's a link down in the bio. It's up for a limited time. It'll show you how to own your distribution, which is key. We can't always rely on these social networks, but we want to own our distribution, so that way if these social networks go out of business, we're not out of luck. Not like the old MySpace days, right? All those people dedicated all that time into building their social following, it's gone. So we want to own our distribution. So that's key. So I have that class up there. So guys, did I do well giving you my promise here? If I did, all I'm asking for is a little like and to subscribe to my channel, to share my love of this kind of information with the rest of the world, and we can create this community together, because I don't take it for granted that you guys spent the time to watch this video. I know that you have a lot of different people you can watch. I know you can check out a lot of different videos, but for you to come to this video, it really means a lot to me. So my name's Paul the Trombonist, and I appreciate you guys so much. I look forward to communicating to you guys in the future. And if you have any ideas on questions, you can just leave them in the comment section below, and I will be good on my promise. I'll reply to those comments. I'll read every single one of them, and I'll be good on my promise, and I'll play you that little tune I wrote. All right, let's do this.